Welcome to the deep dive. We basically take interesting stories, loads of data, real-world experiences, and boil it all down for you. Today, we're heading way, way north. Think swapping Singapore's, constant warmth for the crisp, snowy magic of Finland.
That's right. We're talking about escaping the humidity, stepping into a landscape that's just pristine white, pine trees, frost, the whole deal.
Exactly. And if you've ever caught yourself just staring at photos of the Northern Lights, or maybe secretly or not so secretly dreamt of meeting the real Santa Claus, well, then this deep dive is definitely for you. So our mission today, it's pretty clear. We're digging into some really great sources. We've got this fantastic, very detailed review from a Singaporean family, Kowen, Karen, and their son, Evan, who literally just did this trip.
Yeah, real people, real experience. That's gold.
It really is. And we're pairing that with insights straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, from finlandtour.fi. We're looking at their packages, their FAQs, all that practical stuff.
So the goal is to give you, our listener, a really solid picture. What's a Finland tour from Singapore actually like? What amazing things can you do there? And the big question, how do you even set something like this up without pulling your hair out?
Right. For anyone thinking about, a really unique trip, or maybe you're just fascinated by the Arctic, we want to pull out the key info, those surprising little details, and the practical tips you actually need. No information overload, just inspiration and maybe a little push to start packing.
And I think that combination of sources is what makes this so useful. You get the dream, right? The first-person story, the wow moments from the family, but then you also get the practical side, the how-to from the company itself. It connects the aspiration, seeing the Northern Lights, visiting Santa, maybe that Icebreaker cruise.
Oh, yeah, the Icebreaker.
Exactly. It connects that dream with the actual steps to make it happen. We're kind of lifting the lid on how a family from, a tropical climate manage the logistics and just embrace the Arctic magic.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Every big trip starts with an idea, right? A spark. For Kowen and his family from Singapore, this wasn't just some vague wish. It was crystal clear.
They knew what they wanted.
They absolutely did. For years, apparently, they had this single, unwavering dream, seeing the Northern Lights. That one thing, that's what put Finland, specifically Finnish Lapland in winter, right at the top of their list. Forget other places. It had to be Finland for the aurora.
That kind of focus is powerful. It cuts through all the noise of choosing where to go.
It really does. And it wasn't just the lights. Even before booking, they had this mental checklist, must-dos.
Like what?
Well, the Santa Claus Village, obviously. A dedicated Northern Lights tour. They wanted to maximize their chances,
Makes sense. Don't leave it entirely to chance if you can help it.
Right. And that Icebreaker cruise. I mean, can you imagine? Coming from Singapore, the idea of a ship breaking frozen sea? It's wild.
Completely alien.
So these weren't just vague ideas, they were non-negotiables. It really shaped the whole thing. And it makes you think, doesn't it? For your own dream trip, what are those absolute core things, the experiences that have to be there?
It's a great question. And having that clarity, like Kowen and Karen did with the Northern Lights, really propelled their research. They weren't just browsing, they were actively looking into Finland itineraries. They even mentioned searching for king crab tours.
So they were already digging into those really unique Arctic experiences.
Exactly. They wanted something special beyond the standard stuff. And then Karen hit on something really key during her research. She found a customer review for finlandtour.fi.
Okay.
But here's the kicker, the serendipitous part. The person who wrote the review, also from Singapore.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
Isn't it? Suddenly, it's not just some random testimonial. It's someone relatable, someone from their own background who had a great experience. Kowen specifically mentioned the author was from Singapore only, and he had a good experience. That built instant trust.
I can totally see that. It removes a layer of uncertainty.
Definitely. Now, they did have a valid question initially. They wondered if finlandtour.fi had, like, an office in Singapore, a physical place they could go to.
Yeah, that's understandable when you're booking a big trip overseas. You want that sense of security.
Of course. But through their research and maybe initial contact, they landed on this really important insight, something they explicitly stated. It is always better to book with a local Finnish company instead of keeping a mediator in between.
Okay, let's unpack that. Why is booking directly with a local company potentially better? Especially one based in Finland, like finlandtour.fi.
Well, think about it. First, communication. It's direct. You cut out the middleman, which means fewer chances for misunderstandings or delays. If you need to ask a question or make a change, you're talking straight to the people organizing everything on the ground.
Right, no telephone game.
Exactly. Second, local knowledge. A company based in Finland lives and breathes Finland. They know the nuances, the best times, the hidden gems. They have real-time info on conditions, availability.
Things an overseas agent might not know instantly.
Precisely. They've established relationships with local hotels, activity providers, guides. This can often translate into, well, potentially better rates, maybe preferred access to popular things, or even the ability to arrange something a bit bespoke.
Like getting into that specific igloo Evan wanted.
That's a perfect example. A local company knows the booking systems inside out. They know who to talk to. They can react quickly if something opens up. They have that insider track.
And what about problems if something goes wrong during the trip?
That's maybe the biggest advantage. If there's a hiccup, weather cancels an activity, a minor issue with the hotel, having your tour operator right there, in the same country, often in the same time zone, means they can respond fast. They can sort things out directly, immediately. An agent halfway across the world might be asleep or have to go through multiple layers to fix something.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's not just about convenience, it's about efficiency, local expertise, and troubleshooting power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It often leads to a smoother, more secure, and potentially even more cost-effective experience in the long run. You're cutting out a layer and gaining direct access.
That's a really powerful insight. Finding the right local partner. So they decided finlandtour.fi was the way to go. How did the actual planning work out?
Amazingly smoothly by the sounds of it. They worked with Päivi at the company, who helped customize their itinerary. And the speed was honestly pretty remarkable.
How fast?
They finalized the entire customized plan in just 3 days.
3 days? For a multi-day international trip with specific requests? That's impressive.
It really is, especially when you consider the timing. They booked this back in June 2023.
Okay.
For travel in March 2024, nearly a year in advance.
Okay. That speaks volumes about planning ahead, doesn't it?
Absolute critical. And it ties into Evan's big wish, that igloo room. They were aware there could be availability issues.
Because everyone wants to stay in an igloo.
Pretty much. Especially the glass ones during peak season, December to March. So booking that far ahead was essential to lock in not just the trip, but those specific high-demand elements. If you want that igloo or a specific safari time, booking early isn't just recommended, it's basically required.
Good advice. And the money side, paying for it all.
Kowen mentioned that was smooth and clear, which, again, sounds like a small thing, but having a straightforward, transparent payment process for a big trip just removes so much stress, builds confidence right from the start.
Definitely. Okay, so the planning sounds efficient and booking early is key. What about the different types of trips finlandtour.fi offers? You mentioned packages.
Right. They have several recommended packages that act as great starting points, showing the variety they offer. Let's look at a few mentioned in the sources.
Okay.
So there's a 6 days Finland tour package. This one starts from around 2,700 euros per person. It seems focused on hitting the Lapland highlights. Quickly think of snowmobile safaris, northern lights hunting, that kind of core Arctic stuff.
Good for a shorter trip, maybe. Get a real blast of winter.
Exactly. Then, if you have more time, there's the 10 days Finland tour package, starting from 4,500 euro per person. This sounds like a much broader exploration, more time to see different places, maybe combine Lapland with Helsinki, delve deeper into the culture, the landscapes.
And the more immersive, maybe slightly more relaxed pace.
That's how it sounds. Then for the real adventurers, there's an 8 nights, 9 days of Valokirkenes in Ari Levi Rovaniemi option, starting at 5,600 euros per person.
Wow, that covers a lot of ground. Kirkenes, that's Norway, right?
It is. This one includes that king crab hunting experience, which often happens over the border in Norway, plus northern lights hunting across multiple locations. It's intensive.
So for someone who wants to go all in on the Arctic experience.
Precisely. And finally, there's a 7 nights, 8 days Finland with crab hunt package from 4,000 euros per person. This seems to specifically highlight the crab hunt, but maybe within a slightly shorter time frame than the big multi-region one.
Interesting. So you can kind of pick based on duration, focus, and budget, obviously.
Exactly. The packages cater to different styles. Quick Arctic hit, got it. Deeper dive, got it. Specific big adventure, like the crab hunt. There are options for that too.
And these are just templates, right? They mentioned customization.
Absolutely key. These are starting points. The family's experience with Päivi shows that customization is central. You can tweak destinations, add specific activities, tailor it to your interests, adventure, romance, family fun, whatever. That flexibility is huge.
Okay, great. So the planning's done, the package is chosen or customized. Let's get into the trip itself. What was it actually like for Cohen's family? Day by day.
All right, let's dive in. Day 1, arrival. They landed Helsinki March 2nd. And the first hit, the cold.
Uh-huh, I bet. Coming from Singapore.
Yeah, Cohen's first words. It was chill, snow was all around the city. Even the view from the plane landing was just white everywhere. A proper winter welcome.
And getting through the airport?
Smooth sailing. That visa-free entry for Singaporeans really helps. No hassle. Then, the transfer was seamless. Chauffeur waiting, clear sign with the finlandtour.fi logo, nice BMW S4. Yeah, straight to the Radisson Blue Plaza in central Helsinki. Cohen called it cozy. Sounds like a perfect, comfortable start after a long journey. Dinner, rest, ready for day 2.
Okay, so day 2, still in Helsinki.
Started there, breakfast, a little walk around the city center. Then at 10 a.m. sharp, their car arrived for a day trip.
Where to?
Porvoo Village. It's about an hour's drive, apparently an amazing journey through the snowy landscape.
Oh, nice. A bit of culture outside the capital.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they had a guide there, Heidi. Cohen raved about her beautiful, polite, humble, interactive. Said even Evan really took to her.
Shows the difference a good guide makes, doesn't it?
Huge difference. They did a 90-minute walking tour with her, learned about the place, saw the old wooden houses, then had lunch in Porvoo before heading back to Helsinki. A really nice blend of city comfort and charming local culture.
Sounds like a lovely, gentle introduction before the main Arctic event.
Precisely. Setting the stage.
Yeah.
And then, day 3, the Arctic awaits.
Okay, here we go.
They checked out of Helsinki, hopped on a domestic flight about 1.5 hours up to Evelo, deep in Lapland. And stepping off the plane there, damn cool, according to Cohen.
Haha, I love the directness.
Me too. And then, the moment Evan had been waiting for. They headed to the Kakslodden Arctic Resort.
For the igloo?
For the igloo. Baby had secured it for them. And Evan's reaction. Cohen said he got so excited and happy, we felt that we had gotten more than what we had paid for.
Oh, that's fantastic. When expectations are exceeded like that.
It really is, that pure joy. So they settled into their glass igloo, absolutely buzzing.
Yep.
That first night, they were looking out, hoping for the northern lights.
Any luck?
Not on night 1, no. Which is important to remember, right? It's nature. It's not guaranteed on demand.
True. Sets realistic expectations. But the igloo itself must have been amazing anyway.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Sleeping under the stars, potentially the aurora. It's bucket list stuff.
So, day 4, did their luck change?
Well, the day started with more adventure. They did a snowmobile safari right there at the resort.
Fun, zooming through the snow.
Exactly. A great way to explore the wilderness. And then that night, patience rewarded.
They saw them.
They did.
Uh,
From their igloo, they
Yeah.
spotted the northern lights.
yes. Fantastic.
Cohen's description. Simple, perfect. It was fun.
Haha, brilliant. Sometimes the simplest descriptions capture it best. All that waiting, totally worth it.
Absolutely. A core dream achieved.
Okay, incredible. What about day 5? Moving on from the igloos.
Yep. Checked out of Kakslodden. Next stop, Rovaniemi,
The official hometown of Santa Claus.
the one and only. And the journey there, about 3 hours by road. Cohen specifically called it a must-do. Said, you see the real Finnish Lapland on that drive. The forests, the space.
Good tip. Sometimes the journey is part of the destination.
Totally. So they get to Rovaniemi around 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about efficiency. They didn't even check into the hotel properly first. Just dropped the bags.
The trick of Santa.
Straight to Santa Claus Village. And for Evan, mind blown.
I can only imagine.
Cohen said Evan was so happy to meet Santa, it was mind-blowing to see.
Yeah.
Just pure childhood magic.
Ah. Do they do other things there?
Oh yeah, full day.
Right.
They did a husky ride. Evan loved that. Went to Snowman World, had lunch at a place called Santimus Restaurant. It was packed, fun, and, as Cohen put it, tiring.
The best kind of tiring on holiday. Sounds like a perfect family day.
It really does. Covered all the bases for a kid's dream Christmas experience, even in March.
Okay, so they've seen the lights, met Santa. What could possibly top that? Day 6.
Day 6. This was the day for something truly uniquely Finnish Arctic, the Icebreaker cruise.
Right. The ship that breaks ice. Tell me about it.
They traveled from Rovaniemi to Kemi, about 2.5 hours, and just seeing the sea completely frozen over was apparently a lifetime first for them. Just surreal.
I can't even picture that, coming from a warm climate.
Me neither. Then they boarded the Icebreaker, and it's not just a passive cruise. This ship actively plows through, smashes the frozen sea ice. You feel it, you hear it.
Wow.
But the main event, the absolute climax, getting kitted out in these big insulated survival suits,
The bright orange ones?
those are the ones. And then stepping off the back of the ship
Yeah.
and floating in the icy water among the broken ice chunks.
No way, really.
Yes. Kowen said it was altogether a different experience, which we loved. You're buoyant, totally protected from the cold, just bobbing there in this otherworldly landscape.
That sounds insane and amazing.
Doesn't it? Talk about a unique memory. Kowen actually summed up the whole trip's vibe, saying, actually, every day was a fun day. They got back to Rovaniemi that evening, tired but thrilled.
What an incredible final adventure. So day 7 was departure day.
It was. They flew out from Rovaniemi, heading to London, end of the finished chapter.
And looking back, Kowen's overall feeling.
Extremely positive. His summary was pretty emphatic. Every day was perfect for us, and it was very well planned. High praise indeed.
Definitely. And he mentioned something about the cost compared to planning it themselves.
Yes, this was really interesting. He found the package cost was almost the same or even less than the quotes they were getting, trying to piece it together independently.
That's fascinating. Often people assume DIY is cheaper.
Right. But for complex trips like this, with unique logistics, a specialist can leverage deals, efficiency, and local knowledge in ways that might actually save you money, or at least provide far better value for similar cost. He felt it was absolutely the right decision to go with them.
It really validates their approach.
Totally. And his final verdict: finlandtour.fi is the best company to book your Finland tour in Singapore, without a doubt. Can't get much clearer than that.
Wow. And the most surprising detail for me was that they did all this without a single phone call.
Isn't that wild? Didn't even have one call with Pavey or any other member of the company, not even before booking it. All done digitally, presumably email or maybe their website portal.
That speaks volumes about clear communication, efficient processes, and building trust remotely. Just incredible.
It really is. A masterclass in smooth, remote travel planning.
Okay, so Kowen's family had an amazing, seamless trip. For our listeners now thinking, right, I want that. Righty, let's get practical. Let's talk about booking your own Finnish adventure using the info from finlandtour.fi's FAQs.
Sounds good. Let's cover the essentials. First off, when should you go?
Good question. Peak winter magic time.
The sweet spot, according to them and Kowen's experience, is December to March.
Why then specifically?
Well, that's when you get the best conditions for pretty much everything iconic. Good chances for northern lights, plenty of snow for husky rides, snowmobiling, reindeer sleighs, and it's prime time for staying those glass igloos or snow hotels.
Makes sense. Kowen went in March and saw the lights, did the snow stuff.
Exactly. December has that Christmas magic. Jan-Feb are coldest but often clearest for auroras. March has more daylight but still loads of snow. So that window covers the best bits.
Okay, got it. December to March. Now, how do you actually book with finlandtour.fi?
They offer a few ways. You can use the contact form on their website, send them an email, or specifically ask them to create a custom package just for you.
So pretty flexible entry points.
Very. And they emphasize that they handle everything: itinerary planning, booking flights, hotels, activities, transfers, right through to the final confirmation. It's end-to-end.
Takes the stress out of it.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to that crucial point: booking in advance.
We touched on this, but it's worth repeating.
Absolutely.
Nah.
They strongly advise booking early, especially for that December to March peak season. Think 6 to 12 months ahead if you can.
Because of the igloos and stuff?
Exactly. Those unique accommodations and popular activities have limited spots, and they sell out fast. Booking early means you get your first choice of dates, rooms, and experiences, and avoid disappointment. Don't leave it late if you have your heart set on specific things.
Solid advice. Plan ahead, folks. Okay, so when you book a package, what's typically included, and what are the rough costs?
Generally, packages tend to include your accommodation, all the internal transfers within Finland, flights, cars, maybe trains, guided tours for specific activities, the actual Arctic activities themselves, often some meals, like breakfast, maybe some lunches or dinners, depending on the tour, and that important local support.
But the exact list varies.
Yeah, always check the specific details for the tour you're interested in, or what's in your custom quote, but those are the usual core components.
And cost-wise, give us a ballpark.
Okay, based on their examples, that focused 6-day tour starts around 2,700 euros per person. For longer, maybe more luxurious 9 or 10-day trips, you're looking more in the range of 4,000 to 5,000 euro per person.
Right, so that gives people a realistic starting point for budgeting. Good to know. What about visas? important for international travel.
Crucial. The good news for listeners from Singapore and Malaysia is that they generally get visa-free short stays in Finland as part of the Schengen area.
Oh, brilliant. One less thing to worry about.
Definitely. But for other nationalities, you might need a Schengen visa. So the key advice is check your specific country's requirements well in advance. Don't assume.
Always check the official sources.
Got it. And just to recap the kinds of experiences on offer, it's quite a list, isn't it?
It really is. You've got the glass igloos, snow hotels, northern lights hunts, husky sledding, reindeer farm visits, meeting Santa in Rovaniemi, the Icebreaker cruise, snowmobiling, plus just soaking in those incredible, vast, quiet Arctic landscapes. Something for everyone.
Truly sounds magical. Okay, a couple more practical points. Getting around within Finland, is that complicated?
Not if you book a package like this. As we mentioned, internal transport, domestic flights, private transfers, trains, if needed, is typically included.
Ah, so they handle all those connections for you.
Exactly. That's a huge logistical weight off your shoulders. You just show up where you need to be, and the transport is sorted.
Excellent. And accommodation, it's not just igloos, right? No, definitely not. They offer a whole range. You can go for luxury hotels if you like your creature comforts, cozy traditional log cabins for that rustic feel, and the iconic glass igloos for the unique experience. Caters to different tastes and budgets.
Good to have options. Finally, support and contact. If people have questions or need help.
They seem very accessible. After you pay, they promise to contact you within 3 working hours with confirmations. That's fast.
Very reassuring.
If you want to chat before paying, you can use WhatsApp, plus 358-457-396-2900. That's super convenient.
Direct line, nice.
Yep. They also list email, info@finlandtour.fi, and other phone numbers, plus 358-457-339-0000. And they mention being part of Eurotrail LLC with a DUNS number, which is basically a marker of being a legitimate, established business.
Okay, so multiple ways to get in touch. Quick response times promised.
Wow.
It all sounds very professional and supportive.
It does. It seems designed to build confidence, especially for people booking from far away like Singapore.
Absolutely. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. We've journeyed from Singapore's warmth right into the heart of Finland's winter magic, following Kowen's family story. We've seen how seamless the planning can be with a local expert like finlandtour.fi, explored that amazing range of Arctic activities, and covered the practical steps for booking your own trip. Hopefully for you listening, this has turned that dream of Finland into something that feels, well, really achievable.
It's truly fascinating, isn't it? How meticulous planning and genuine local expertise can take a lifelong dream like seeing the aurora and turn it into this smooth, stress-free, absolutely unforgettable reality. It wasn't just a holiday. It was an experience executed flawlessly. And that leaves us with a thought for you.
Go on.
When you think about your next big adventure, maybe that once-in-a-lifetime trip, how much value do you place on knowing that every single detail is handled? That all the potential stress points are smoothed over by experts, leaving you completely free to just be there? To soak it all in, immerse yourself in the moment and experience the wonder without worrying about the logistics. Perhaps exploring how seamless an Arctic adventure can be is the first step towards your own magical journey.